What's going on, everyone? We figured we would do our manga addendum to our best anime list about 2 months late.
Yeah, you know.
Uh, but also, a lot of our thinking as to what the best anime are have changed over the period of time. So, we're going to do a quick run through of our new joint list of best anime, but we're also including manga now. So, it's going to be all of anime put together, and we're going to fly through the ones that we already covered in the other videos because
You guys want to sit here and
yeah,
hear that again?
yeah, if there's anything significant that's changed, we'll cover that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we'll probably just mostly skip it over.
So sorry, Mosaico Pass. This is gonna be one we skip over. It's just at 25 because
There's manga
there's
on the list
manga
now.
now.
Yeah.
All right. Same thing for Lane.
Same thing for Lane.
Kaguya-sama Love is War, the best story ever told. Ever.
Hey, man, I haven't read it. Just all you.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the anime before we did our list, but, you know, it's not good yet. Like, it's entertaining, but, like, there's some good stuff. I won't spoil too much because the anime isn't even there yet, but season 3 should cover sort of the reason for why this gets a spot on the list, but it's pretty straightforward. I'm not gonna like try to
Analyze it.
analyze Kaguya-sama that much, but I think that with the story and how it is, and if you've seen the show, you know the court scene, and I think they represent Kaguya through like different personalities within her own mind, and they do that well, which then leads to very explicit character development that you can see sort of transition to
Sure.
how she acts. The series, in terms of its structure, starting as sort of like nervous high schoolers and then kind of transforming into the story about like identity and like societal pressures to stifle that identity, and then of course how that relates to being nervous teenagers. And yeah, I don't have a ton to say about this one, especially because spoilers, but it's good. Gurren Lagann.
Not too much has changed here. Sick
Yeah,
show.
super sick.
Yeah, fight
Super
power.
sick.
Great show. This is the one that I think there would be the least amount of contesting from anyone.
Gurren Lagann at
Gurren Lagann at
22.
22.
Yeah.
That's just no one's fighting that.
No, Gurren Lagann's sick.
Tommy Galaxy at 21. Yeah, I love the show. I think that I like it a lot for the visual design and the more the technical aspects of it and the way that it presents things through use of animation. I think that I had already foregone the conclusions of it before watching the show. I can see it being a transformative experience for people, but I watched it when I was 24. So
Yeah, and there was a point where I was sort of struggling to rate this one because I'd also sort of gone through this
yeah.
transition in my life before I watched the show, but I think I could say the same for a lot of other shows I place higher.
Yeah.
I did a better job at sort of reaffirming those views.
Sure.
And you actually made that argument to me, so I'm stealing your talking point to say to you.
Nice.
But
Word.
I
I don't even know why I'm analyzing this because we said we're just
yeah,
it,
yeah,
but
we should skip it. All right, moving on. Number 20, Hunter x Hunter. This one's gone down.
this one's gotten down a little bit, even with the manga added in.
It's just
It's so Chimera Ant centric, but it's not even just Chimera Ant centric. I think the technical elements of Chimera Ant are excellent. I think the overall writing and the delivery of the plot comes off very well. I also really like the characterization aspects of the early Chimera Ant sections, but so much of Hunter x Hunter's quality just comes from the invasion part of Chimera Ant and mostly Meruem's character. If you rip Meruem from this show, we'll withhold our opinions on.
yeah. My opinions of Gon have gone down considerably, even though I
Yeah.
still have him at second here.
Yeah,
And it really is Meruem. My opinions of Meruem have kind of gone down.
he's still great.
He's
Meruem's
still
great.
He's
but-
fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's not something I find myself thinking back to a lot.
Yeah, I think that I was giving Gon. I think I was giving Gon points for his development, just because there was something there. But I think that I've seen transitions from man or innocence into evil or monstrosity done better in many other places and some to an extreme degree
Yeah.
You know,
But so yeah, Hunter x Hunter has fallen a little bit. Not a ton.
not a ton. It's
Not-
it's still a fantastic show. At this point, especially if we're including manga, everything on here is fantastic. I think
Yeah.
everything on here we'd probably both give at least an 8, more or less.
for the most part.
Yeah.
Moving on, this one's another one that's just me. It's gonna be just me for a lot of the teens, isn't it?
Yeah.
Katana Gatari. This was at 25 on our original list, and now it's, even with manga, has bumped all the way up to 19. I think I was just underselling this show quite a bit. It's something that I think back to. It's something that has a really powerful climax, and usually, and it is the point of the show, sure, but usually my thoughts on a climax will reflect my thoughts on a show, and the show's more than its climax, whereas I think a lot of shows aren't. I think that the progression, and you've seen the first episode, haven't you?
Yeah.
So, like, you know, in the first episode, how he is kind of a blank slate.
Yes.
You know, he's never interacted with anyone before.
Yeah.
And it's kind of episodic. He fights a different villain every week. But I think it does it well in that each villain imparts, like, a part of their philosophy onto him, and slowly over the course of the show, he becomes a complete person.
So it's Vagabond.
I've never read Vagabond. I'm reading Vagabond right now.
Yeah.
But I have no idea if it's
Yeah,
Vagabond.
That's
but it's a
that's
samurai
more or
story.
less what Vagabond is. Yeah.
They actually reference Musashi in the show. They like talk about him for like a second.
So it's
So maybe.
really Vagabond.
I have no idea.
Cool.
But it's really good. Yeah. Full Alchemist. This one's moved up.
This one's moved up a lot.
Yeah.
Both
this-
of us at the same time sort of just came to an understanding that this show was way better than we were giving it credit for.
Yeah.
So if you're an FMA fan and
You're mad about our rating
Take-
before, then here you
hopefully,
go.
hopefully this helped you out. We are now, I think we're both now FMA over Hunter x Hunter.
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is weird to
Yeah.
think, because I was pretty firmly the other way.
Yeah.
Because it was sort of always this, and it's like this in the community. They sort of like represent this like peaks versus consistency debate.
Yeah. Through these two shows.
Yeah, and I don't even really think that that works. I kind of think the climax of FMA is on par
Fair enough.
with the
yeah.
climax of Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that far
I
off.
can see
think,
it. I think that Ed's decisions at the end are far more impactful than I gave him credit for.
Yeah, I think that we both just underrated the hell out of Ed before, and
Yeah.
he's the best character of the show. He sort of embodies what the show's about, and
Yeah.
he's fantastic, and the show's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved this show all the way through.
So did
too.
I.
I was unbelievably entertained
Yeah,
watching
no.
this, and yeah,
This show's great.
we underrated the shit out of that show, and I'm happy that we've corrected that.
Yeah. Moving on to Rurouni Kenshin. So, this one makes me sad because it, like, I have it as the manga because I read the manga.
Yeah.
This story is so carried by the last arc, which was never adapted. They just didn't adapt it.
Yeah.
But no, this manga is fantastic. It's not like overly dark, but how it shows like his regrets and their like ubiquitous influence on his life in sort of a peaceful time, and how that mirrors sort of the government, how it's built on historical atrocities, and how they're now in a time of peace, but there's always this looming threat of like their wrongdoings that they've had, and throughout the story, there's just always parallels between Kenshin and the government and just like the society as a whole, and like how they present themselves, how they're going to deal with their pasts. And I think the conclusions it comes to are pretty damn interesting. I think they work. I wasn't super high on it originally, but I think I was missing some of those parallels, and I think the parallels make it a lot better. And I don't have a ton to say. If you are interested in this story, it is really cool because it will teach you some history in some interesting ways. Yeah.
I love that you put a core theme as farming.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No,
Core
that's for
theme.
Vinland. I'm on Kenshin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I skipped ahead. But
Yeah.
yeah. Well, if you're ready, up next.
No, I'm ready. So yeah, next is Vinland Saga.
I spoiled your joke. I'm sorry.
Oh no. Well,
Core theme farming.
Little core theme farming. Yeah, I've only read up to the end of the Slave arc. I will read the Baltic Sea arc soon, but even without it, it absolutely deserves a higher spot on this list than just the anime earned it when we did our original list. Thorfinn's development throughout the Slave arc is fantastic. He's just, I mean, you can see it in this picture that I have up here where he says, in all the time I've lived, and like not one good thing has ever happened. It is, I mean, if you've seen the anime, if you haven't, like, it's not that big of a spoiler, but he's just kind of, he's fucked up from the events of it. He's just sort of looking for his place in the world, sort of losing his primary purpose in life. And we have this quote that I included that says, being empty means anything can fit inside you. If you want to be reborn, empty is the best way to be. And I think that's exactly what this arc is. I think it is Thorfinn completely empty, farming, and finding sort of what will fill him and what will make him feel whole again. And I think they do that pretty fantastically. It's a simple story, but it's a fantastic one. It's done to perfection. I would like to bring up how it's about farming. And I think that Vagabond has a farming arc, right?
Yes.
Which is similar. I haven't read it, but from what I just described, is it similar?
It's very similar. I think that you have Musashi has become a new man, and then he goes and farms and connects to sort of local people and finds a new lot in life.
Yeah, so like I'm wondering if there was some like huge revolution of like personal views on just life, like during some agricultural revolution in Japan. Like, is that a thing? Because I keep seeing this story pop up.
Yeah,
it's in Finland. Apparently it's in Vagabond.
Yeah,
it's in Kenshin's backstory in Rurouni Kenshin.
Mm-hmm.
There's that part you've seen, Trust and Betrayal, which adapts his backstory.
Yeah,
he just goes and farms and like finds that he like likes other people.
Yeah,
you know, like he just goes and farms.
You gotta just farm, and then you'll come to some conclusions about yourself as a man. That's all you gotta do.
There's this episode of March Comes In Like a Lion where I forgot his name, Hazamada, the guy at the end of season. Where he's just
the burning field.
No, not that.
No. Oh,
is that not?
I don't know.
It's like this guy. And he's has this dream sequence where he's a farmer and he's found the meaning of life. And he's like, what if I was a farmer instead of a shogi player? It's like, what's with farming? Why does farming give you the like? Should I go become a farmer?
Maybe. Scott, we can grow some stuff in the backyard.
Just some wheat.
We should. Let's just grow some wheat.
Like, what if instead of running an anime page, we farmed?
Maybe we should. It'd be cool.
But yeah, the characters changed a little bit. Most people, when they finish the anime, think Askeladd is the best character. I'd be surprised if you finished the Slave arc and didn't think Thorfinn was better. But Askeladd is still great, and he's still second. That's all I got for Vinland.
Nice.
We already talked about Nana. My opinions on Nana haven't changed.
Cool.
Nana's fantastic. If it ever finishes, it will absolutely rise. My opinions on Hibike Euphonium haven't changed either. It's fantastic.
Yep.
Let's move back to Heroes.
Should we add in some slides of Kyrgyz and yell?
We should.
Should. Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. But no, opinions. The show hasn't changed. Looking at this at 13.
Feels weird.
It feels weird.
It feels
weird. It feels very weird. I think of this show, and I think this is top 5 anime ever material. Mm-hmm. This show is amazing. I really don't have anything negative to say about it. It's a defining experience in the ideas that it's tackling. And it's only 13, but I think that just speaks to the quality of the list. I think that everything from here on, if somebody told me this is the best anime ever, or best manga ever, I would just say, okay, that's a good pick.
See, it's weird.
I wouldn't argue at all.
It's weird because there's a big jump. I think there's a large jump between UFO and Galactic Heroes. I don't know if you think there's a huge jump between Galactic Heroes and the last thing that you've seen. FMA?
FMA, yeah. I think there's a huge jump.
There's a big jump.
Yeah, there's a huge
I don't
jump.
think there's... I think that
I haven't seen UFO,
closer to FMA than it is to Galactic Heroes.
Yeah, so this is the cutting point.
This is like...
This is the cutting
huge
point.
Jump right here.
Yeah. We probably just made the jump from our 8s to our 9s, or no?
We did,
Yeah, okay.
Just now.
Okay, cool. So we would, tier break Galactic Heroes.
Galactic Heroes is fantastic.
12th.
Fate.
Yeah, Fate series, whole thing. withhold your judgment if you haven't seen Heaven's Feel 3 yet, because that's the best part of the Fate series.
Yeah, we're hoping it was adapted well. I've been seeing some people say it wasn't adapted well, but there are also the people who say the rest of it wasn't adapted well, and it just was. So
Yeah, Ufotable's great.
I don't know.
So,
But yeah, Fate's fantastic. Clannad.
this moved up because it moved up for me. I think I just sort of recognized I recognize the value in Tomiya's journey outside of just a few key moments,
Yeah.
and I put that into perspective, and I raised Clannad up, and now I have his 9 too, so we have it 11th.
Well, it was actually 10 before.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh okay.
So that's gone down.
Interesting. But with manga,
Yeah, with
it's now
manga.
instead of being 10 with just anime, it's 11 with 4 or 5 manga above it.
Yeah, I also have it above Fate, which I didn't before. And yeah.
Cool.
Moving on. Now we get to you talking. Even
Yeah,
though I'm
me
reading
talking,
this right
right.
now, but now it's you talking.
I put the genre just as samurai. I wasn't sure what the hell to call this as a genre, but Vagabond, as we were saying before, is essentially a story of a man who walks around and fights different foes and learns something from each man that he fights. I had a discussion about Walter White versus Tony Soprano as a character the other day, and I made the point. I think Tony is a significantly better character than Walt. I made the point that although Walt definitely changes more, that's not all of what development is. Development is what the character represents, the ideas that they explore, everything that goes into who they are and what they mean, what they do for the show. And I think Tony does a lot more and is a much broader in scope character than Walt. Musashi is both of these things. Musashi goes from an arrogant as hell
Oh yeah.
child.
I'm in the beginning. So
Yeah, you're in the
yeah.
beginning. Arrogant
Oh, yeah.
as hell child whose only goal is to be, as he says, invincible under the sun, which really just means he wants to be able to cut down anyone who challenges him with a sword. And as he comes along that process, he understands how useless that goal is. And he moves more and more towards wanting to find inner peace with himself as a man. And then especially when you get to the climax so far of this story, which is the second Yoshioka arc, and you see sort of the pain that he's caused by succeeding in his former goal and the transitions that causes in him. He's a sensational character. I see people say that the cast overall is great. I really think that it just focuses on Musashi and Kojiro. Did a separate video on Kojiro if you want to hear my thoughts on him. It's a 5-minute video. It's quick. I think it's worthwhile. I'd rather you listen to the 5-minute video on Kojiro than me give you a poor version of what I think about him.
Fair.
I guess to do a 1-sentence explanation, I think he is the character that does visual representation of development the best. He is deaf and mute. So so what you are effectively getting is other people's commentary on him and his facial expressions in creating this well fleshed out character. Yet he's an incredibly well fleshed out character. He's an amazing character. But yeah, Vagabond is great. I would love to see this get continued someday, even though I'm not really.
You should
holding
read the
out
book.
hope. I could read the book. But yeah, let's move on.
Berserk.
Yeah,
Whole manga.
whole manga. Yeah,
Well, not for me.
not for you, but
Oh, if you wanna discount my opinions, you can.
no. I don't think that your opinion. What do we have above this? I don't think you would put Berserk over anything that's above it, based on
I finished Falcon of the Millennium Empire and then I stopped.
based
That
on the
is-
Fantasia arc.
Yeah.
I think there are a couple strong sets of chapters in the
Yeah.
Fantasia arc, but it's not something that's going to change your overall perspective on the story yet. Although I'm sure it will be by the end of the arc. We talked about the golden age of Berserk and essentially just sung its praises to no ends. A point that I guess I wanted to make that I just brought up to you before we started the video. I really see the theme of Berserk as being personal ambition versus interpersonal connection. be it through Griffith or Guts's perspective.
Yeah.
And I think that is the theme of Griffith through the Golden Age arc, where he is sort of picking between his dream and connections to others, predominantly Guts, and then the rest of the manga.
We've Guts driven
Post
by
Golden Age.
revenge for Griffith.
Yeah.
Revenge to
Or
Griffith.
love for Casca.
And, the rest of the crew.
Yeah.
Which definitely plays into it.
Yeah. But when you get to the manga sections, you got the Hill of Swords, which is a phenomenal moment. You got the Berserker armor, which is the best power-up ever written. The way it plays into the themes of Guts and who he is. It's so incredible.
Just how it's handled too, and like everything. I cannot say anything too positive about the Berserker armor.
Yeah, there's no hyperbole that's unwarranted for how great of a plot device the Berserker armor is.
Because I remember when we did that like 30-day story thing, and I hadn't read Berserk, and it was like best weapon, armor, power up, whatever.
Yeah,
and you're just like, Berserker armor. If you read Berserk and you don't think it's the Berserker armor, you're just wrong.
You're just wrong. Yeah.
To me.
You're wrong.
There's to other people who've probably read more things, seen more things.
Sure.
Maybe.
If there's something that I haven't read or seen and there's something better, fair enough.
But for what our values are, which are very similar, and what we've seen, which is also very similar, it's this. And it's not even close.
And it's not even close.
It's not even close.
It's not even close.
Yeah, Berserk's fantastic.
That's a meme that we have because of my story on Rap Thought World. I tend to say, and it's not even close to every opinion I give, even when I do think it's close.
But this is not even close.
But this is not even
opinion,
close.
I don't think there's anything that really rivals Berserker armor.
No.
That's sort of similar.
No. Okay, moving on. Number 8, FLCL.
So this one's just so weird to go right up from Berserk
to FLCL.
It's fantastic, though.
It's so artistically gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just the way that they choose to use anime to explore the ideas that they do, the presentation of it, just the creativity.
Yeah.
It's just otherworldly. It's true art in the purest form.
Yeah, I won't try to analyze it, especially because there's an amazing analysis.
Phenomenal analysis on it. If you Google what FLCL means to me, there will be a Reddit thread that comes up with a top 5 internet analysis from what I've seen.
Yeah, it is pretty fantastic. So I won't try to analyze it, but yeah, this is absolutely one of my favorites, but we talked about it in the other video, so.
Also this, and Berserk, which we just covered, the best anime soundtracks.
Hey.
I
don't agree, but that's fine.
That's fine.
See, Mark, the Berserk anime soundtrack is carried by Guts' theme. The rest aren't that good.
They're all great.
Hey.
Okay.
Good night, Pun Pun.
This is a surprise to most people, probably.
It's my fault. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, I put it third.
I'm not as big of a Pun Pun guy.
Yeah, I love Pun Pun. I did have it as my number 1 anime manga for a little while. I think that I don't really know why. I don't really know why I thought so incredibly highly of it.
I think it's jarring
off a little bit.
when you first read it. It's jarring.
It's very jarring. The emotion is almost forced out of you. You almost don't have a choice but to react strongly to it. Mm-hmm. But I think I just wish that it was a little bit broader in scope and that it made more progression through its conclusion in terms of the, I guess, recovery effort.
Yeah.
To make a more direct statement about what it means as a story.
That's sort of my perspective as well, but I suppose I value that more than you do. Which is why I place it lower. It's hard to rate.
It is.
At least for me.
It's also, you're rating, with this manga, you are rating Pun Pun's character, and that's it.
Are you saying me or just anyone?
Anyone.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. There's no other real element about this story besides just Pun Pun's character. It's basically a guy being sad in his room and thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess if you really like Saki.
If you really like Seki, or you somehow got some sort of meaning out of the Pegasus subplot, I think it's a critique on shonen somehow, but
I think it ties into Pun Pun sort of.
Yeah, but marginally,
No, this is about Pun Pun.
Yeah, this is about Pun Pun. It's about Asano.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that in terms of technical writing, I think this is the best.
Yeah, I think this, like,
This is the best written thing
I'll, like,
in terms of like very specifically technical writing.
I'll talk about this sometimes, like, with a character and how fleshed out they are.
Yeah.
And sort of most writers will give you a lot about them, and you will logically fill in the gaps. I don't think there are any gaps with Pom Pom.
Yeah.
I think everything's there.
Everything's
I think everything is presented. Every
Yeah.
like little bit of his personality is just forced at you through the pages.
He's the most explicitly developed character
Yeah.
that I can think of.
Yeah, which I can understand saying is the best like written thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
I
It doesn't-
I still have no problem with somebody putting this number one though. I know we said that everything 13 and on I can see as number one. Somebody says number one for this, and there isn't even a mild why don't they choose this instead in my mind. I
get it.
Yeah, I get it.
I understand why. It's not something that has really resonated with me much past me reading it. I think a lot of things, pretty much everything else on this list, I think about pretty frequently.
Yeah.
This isn't one of them.
I think that
I don't think it's had much.
everything
impact
besides
on
the next spot on the list has had more of an impact on me as a person.
Hey. Oh, okay.
Yeah. The next spot on the list is just super fucking sick.
Are we moving on to there?
Yeah, let's move on.
I could see this having a huge impact on someone. This is fantastic. It's like how it balances just being like such a personal story while, I mean, I'm not giving it a ton of points for being fun, but like it's fun, and then it also like
It's fun as hell.
extends this sort of like very personal narrative to just like much larger like societal ideas, and not in like a way that feels preachy, not in a way that feels too on the nose. It's just perfect in how it like links everything together into the central theme of fatherhood. I think we both agree.
Yeah.
That is the central theme of. Oh,
I think-
of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. We're mostly talking about Steel Ball Run.
We're mostly talking about Steel Ball Run. Yeah. The rest of JoJo's is definitely not better than Pun Pun or Galactic Heroes or, or whatever else.
I had 2 slides on my Steel Ball Run post about how I think that this idea of the true man's world sort of links all of JoJo's together.
Yeah, I think that the rest of JoJo's definitely bleeds into Steel Ball Run.
I don't think you need to. The JoJo fans will come at me. I don't think you need to read or go through the rest to read Steel Ball Run. I think you.
I
need to do
didn't.
it. You didn't. Yeah.
I didn't, and I finished Steel Ball Run and said, that was phenomenal. That was a top 5 anime manga that I've experienced up to that point. And I didn't need the context of the rest of JoJo's to understand that.
No. I think, to be honest, I think that Steel Ball Run helps JoJo much more than JoJo helps Steel Ball Run.
Yes, agreed.
In terms of.
It gives the rest of JoJo's a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sort of like this idea of the true man's world, and I absolutely love that idea. I did a
Yeah.
full post on it.
Yeah, you were talking to me about it, and you were saying how all of JoJo's is about generations of men passing down.
The ability to like find your own path.
Yeah, not each father's path onto their son, but the
Yeah.
ability to choose your way,
Yeah, and how that
to find your own meaning, and identity.
How that plays into the story of Steel Ball Run, especially, and how it's contrasted with other elements is fantastic. It's like a small. I mean, it's not small story wise, but like it's kind of small with like the use of Jesus.
Yeah.
But I love it. Everything it's just so thematically consistent while having like just a very personal story.
Yeah, and the relationship between Johnny and Gyro is unbelievably well done.
Yeah. I love this thing to no end.
Oh yeah, Steel Ball Run's great.
It's
I told you for 6 months now that you should read it because it's really fucking amazing and you would like it a lot.
Yeah.
And now you finally read it.
And it's amazing.
Yes.
Like we do the best versus favorite thing. This is like my 3rd favorite anime manga now.
This is my 3rd favorite anime manga as well.
Yeah, this is such a good read.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going.
Speechless.
5.
Monogatari. Monogatari's so fucking good.
You kind of have changed your opinion on this.
On Monogatari?
Yeah.
I have actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. It hasn't raised that much. Like,
It hasn't
all of
raised
my
that much in
rankings.
rankings because there's not really much room for it to
Yeah,
raise.
yeah. But
You've convinced me a bit.
Yeah,
I
That's
think I would put Araragi in my top 5 characters in anime manga nowadays.
yeah, I think that when we finished this, we were sort of like, yeah, Araragi and Shinobu are a tier, and then we have like Hanekawa and Nadakawa as a tier.
Yeah,
I think Araragi's like clear cut,
very
number
clear cut.
one.
Yeah. Shinobu is one of my
Fantastic.
favorite characters. She is like top 3 or 4 favorite characters in all of it. But Araragi is definitely a better character than her.
Yeah, I think that
Putting them in a tier is kind of ridiculous.
this this core theme of just like what we owe to others and how do we express that? What do we owe to others and what do we owe ourselves?
Yeah.
I think that would be how I boil it down as quickly as possible. And I think every element just bleeds into not every element. Not every element. I am not that much of a stan.
Yeah.
But every
No, the fan service is nonsense.
It's nonsense. It's not needed.
Yeah, it's not needed.
Every writing element blends into that perfectly, and like I don't even want to spoil it, but my perspective on this has changed because I've started interpreting the climax of the series a bit differently, and with my new interpretation, I think it's a little less like, yeah, that was a good ending. That's sort of what had to happen.
Yeah.
And is transformed into like this is a more, how do I say this?
More powerful.
This is a more powerful ending. This
Yeah.
is something that can like stick with
Put an
you.
exclamation point instead of a period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that has raised my opinion on the series quite a bit.
Sure.
I need to rewatch a little bit of it to like
Solidify.
solidify my thoughts, but
The storytelling mechanisms of this are so great too.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I always bring this up. I love that it's told out of order because especially with the Araragi moments, every single like climax in his life, you've seen before how he is before it and after before you see the climax.
Yeah.
Without spoiling the climax.
Yep.
So you know exactly the weight of each moment in his life when you watch it.
Yeah.
And I think that plays into it.
So much.
And it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I hate that I love this show.
Yeah.
I hate it.
The show's so goddamn good.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's so problematic, but it's so good.
problematic. I
Yeah.
could never
I could never recommend this to a random friend.
No.
I was talking to one of my friends from college about anime today, and I'm like, I can't really say, hey man, you should watch Monogatari.
No, you can't. Like, we're an anime page and we're an anime YouTube account, so we talk about it. I would never bring this show up to anyone else.
No, yeah.
If someone said like, "Oh yeah, what's your like top 5 favorite shows?" This is absolutely in there.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna say that.
That's
Oh,
fair.
what's that? Oh yeah, it's this show about like
It's an ecchi harem.
it's an ecchi harem and there's like 8-year-olds. They're naked constantly. Like, why? Why?
Yeah. Just don't do that. Well, she's actually 600.
It's actually 600. Yeah. All right. Well, this show's amazing. And
Show's amazing, but
I
it could
don't-
use some censoring.
I don't knock it for its problematic
I don't either.
elements.
No.
I don't knock it for its problematic elements. If you do, like, I guess I get it, but
Yeah.
I don't. It's left its mark on me.
Yeah.
This is another show, though, when we were talking about Tatami Galaxy, where it's something that I've already kind of accepted its core ideas
Yes.
before I watched it,
Yes.
but it's reaffirmed those values in a much stronger way than Tatami Galaxy has, and it's sort of given me, like, when I think about it now, I think about Monogatari. It's
Sure.
defined this concept.
Yeah. That's sort of what I look for in art, for things to be on the highest level, is they come to define the concept that they are talking about.
Yeah.
Where it gets to a point where when I think about that abstract idea in life, at any point, I think about that show, album,
Are
movie, whatever.
Are we all at that from now on?
Are we all what?
Are we all at that level from now on?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
For
For sure. Yep.
Everything from this
Everything
point on
at
is
this
like,
point.
I think of the theme and I think of this.
Yes.
Well, do you have more to say about Monogatari?
Nope.
All
Nope.
right.
We're good.
Yeah, Utena. We already talked about Utena, but yeah, this,
You have it second. I'm killing your rating a little bit here.
Well, I killed your Fun rating. I think more, but yes, I have this one second. This one, especially,
has had an impact on me, and especially when I think of the ideas it represents. I think of the show.
Yeah, I almost want to say this is. It's almost like you go to school and in health class you watch things that you need to watch to understand. It's almost like this is required viewing.
I think
to understand the hypocrisy of society's perspective on women and what the female experience is like. It left an impact on me, and what I hope is my understanding and not lack thereof of the difficulty of that experience, which I have not lived through.
Yeah, I think it does a good job of, obviously, like, nothing could ever just make me understand it completely,
of course,
not having gone through it, but I think it does a good job of giving you the emotional context to look at its themes.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I don't have a ton to say that I didn't say in the other video, but this is a fantastic work. Like you said, it feels like required viewing. I wish it was entertaining.
Yeah.
Because I think it could be required. Like, I think for the most part, most people would end up being a better person having watched the show. Now I'm going to be pretentious.
No, that's I think that's a reasonable thing to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
that there are a lot of toxic views on women out there, and a lot of
I think even
to sound
if
like a massively feminist person, there's a lot of internalized misogyny that has just pervaded
just
American
culture,
culture of the whole world.
Yeah. I think even if you think you're...
This digs that out a little bit.
I think even if you think of yourself as a fairly, like,
open
person, I think it can shift your perspective still.
Yeah.
I think even if it doesn't, like, change any, like, major worldviews, there's, like, little things that it, like, expresses and gives you the context to look at.
Yeah.
All right, let's stop talking about shows we've already talked about.
Yeah.
And keep talking about shows we've already talked about.
Yeah. Gintama.
I'm watching Gintama right now, and
you love it.
I love Gintama. I'm in season 1, so like...
And you've experienced none of the good parts.
Obviously, I wouldn't put it this high, but I kind of would be shocked at this point if I don't by the end, just even from what I've heard and what I've seen.
Yeah.
Just like... Oh,
the show's
Gintama's
ridiculous, and it's so great.
Just like how it shows sort of like...
I love that you're leading the way. You haven't seen the show, but take it away, Scott.
Like you have on here, it's like, love life, move on from tragedy, and be open to new people and new experiences because they have meaning. I think how the beginning has shown just like love life and like the wholesomeness and just like wholesome and like not only like positive, but wholesome in like this very holistic view. Like everything's there, just like all these people in his life and how that all like amounts to just like adding to him. I love Gintama.
Oh, Gintama is amazing.
Do you want to talk about why it's actually good?
I mean, you're kind of right. The problem with Gintama is for me to... The thing with this show is for me to talk about anything
that I didn't just talk about.
That you didn't just talk about is so full of spoilers. I can't say anything without massive spoilers to the point where you'd be mad. If I said a sentence talking about the actual meat of the story, you'd be mad.
Fair.
But yeah, essentially what happens in this story is you come to learn what the reality is, what we're moving on from, what the circumstances that led to the bubbly and soulful community that we experience through the mostly comedic and happy episodes that make up the majority of the beginning of the show, how those came to be. And it really puts into perspective how impressive the fact that we've gotten here is. And then the end of the show is just... Or not the end of the show. The end of the story that just got released as a movie, which I cannot wait to watch, is just unbearably emotional and perfect.
Are we just going to go see it and cry our eyes out?
Yeah.
Right, cool. Good.
Yeah. I started tearing up reading a damn manga.
Yeah.
A damn manga about a show that is ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous. The show
so
is
ridiculous.
nonsense.
Oh.
But no, when you get to the serious story of this show, I was blown away at how unexpectedly good it was. It is so damn good. you get to a very specific episode.
That one. 305.
305.
Right.
And everything changes immediately. You get a character who isn't a character up to that point. He's just this shadowy figure, immediately becomes sensational within the span of one episode. And it just keeps going from there. And there's not really a dull moment from that point on. Gintama is phenomenal. It's everything that I love about anime and really everything I love about storytelling in general. It's my second favorite anime.
Fair. So. I also love Gintama.
Yeah, and you've seen none of it. So.
Yeah.
All right. And we have no more manga addendums. It's
we know we don't.
Yeah, we have no more manga
addendums. I don't
addendums.
think our thoughts have changed on this.
No, yeah, our top two are exactly the same. Monster, you know what? Just to do this fairly quickly, I like to make the argument lately that I think that there are two core stories that have encapsulated what storytelling, the core ideas, like
what defines the human condition.
Yeah, what defines the human condition, the two main genres, like overarching...
Prototypical stories.
Yeah, the prototypical stories, the highest level of classification, not genre, not subgenre, whatever is above genre. In storytelling are man versus self, the internal struggle to search for meaning in a meaningless world, and good versus evil, and what's our true nature. I almost always prefer the first one, but I grew up loving the good versus evil narrative. And as I got older, I became less and less fulfilled by it, as it usually ended up being fairly generic and not making any sort of deep and impactful conclusions about what that conflict really is. Even when I'd seen stories that tried to be a little different, like just to take an example everyone knows, like Marvel, Infinity War, right? They try to make it...
Add like a utilitarian spin. I think a lot of things add a utilitarian
Yeah, a utilitarian spin. They don't do it anywhere near the level of Monster. Monster is the good versus evil story. It took that very primordial narrative of humanity and perfected it. And then you have Evangelion, which took the other one and perfected it.
Yeah.
So with the top two spots, we have the two oldest types of stories that mankind has been telling for forever, done to the best that they've been done.
Yeah.
And that's why they're the top two anime manga.
Fair.
So that's our updated list.
Yeah.
Some of these manga place pretty damn high.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, most of the manga we've read is just like we went to the Mal top 6 and we're like, let's read this today.
And the anime list on Mal is
well, I think we value just like pure writing a lot more.
Yeah.
Where I think the anime
flashy animation,
excitement, visuals.
Yeah.
Something you're looking for in like an entertaining TV show. Where I think
it's a younger demographic too.
I mean, I have no idea.
I don't think you agree, but yeah, I think that the people rating anime on Mal are probably younger on average than the people rating manga.
I have no idea. I've never looked at the statistics.
I mean, even if you just look at the amount of seinen at
the
top, the amount of seinen versus shonen. Although I guess those seinen aren't really in an anime form.
Well, Monster is, but that's it.
Yeah, but even just in seeing the difference between Monster being 5th on the anime list and like 45th on the anime, or the 5th on the manga list and 45th on the anime list.
Well, I see a lot of people. I feel like manga is the main way people consume Monster as a story.
Yeah,
and so I see some criticisms of the anime adaptation. I haven't read the manga. I've kind of heard it's 1-to-1, but I've heard the 1-to-1 screws up the pacing. I love the pacing of Monster. I'm totally fine with it. I don't care.
Yeah. I tell people that episodes 5 through 35 are pretty slow. It's not a negative to me, though.
No.
I don't mind.
I very much enjoyed
it.
I
slow
had
is
a
not
post basically on those episodes.
Yeah.
And I think they add a lot to the show.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't change a goddamn thing about Monster.
No,
not
Monster,
one thing.
Monster's pretty perfect.
Yeah, I wouldn't have the arrogance to think that I could do anything to improve that story.
See, that's weird because I totally do have changes I'd make to Evangelion.
That's fair. Well, Evangelion's more flawed than Monster. It just has their impact. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
So-
that's basically it, right?
That's our list. So unless you have anything to add, or I read Solanine too and JoJo Part 6. Those are the only manga that I've read that aren't on the list. Solanine, I don't really have a reason not to put it on here. I think that I like everything on this list, as well as probably a few more entries more. I haven't really thought about it since reading it. I kind of just read it because it was the same author as Pun Pun.
Fair.
But it didn't really leave a mark on me in any way. And JoJo Part 6 is probably this... No, not probably. Is the second best JoJo... No, 4. Is the third best JoJo part, in my opinion. But it's not good enough to make the list, I don't think.
I haven't read 6.
I love JoJo.
I should.
You should read 6. I think that having a female JoJo will play into your perspective on the entirety of the series.
Yeah, that's what I was
manhood.
bringing up, and it was sort of like how over the course of the series, sort of like who is, to use the Steel Ball Run terms, who is welcomed into the true man's world is expanded. Because you have Jonathan and Joseph. I mean, this is totally in my post, but if you have Jonathan and Joseph, who are these rich, white, ultra-muscular, just like hyper-masculine men.
Yeah.
And then you have Jotaro, who is also that, but he's a different race.
Yep.
Josuke, different race, different family dynamic, different class.
Mm.
I guess Jotaro is also a different class, I think.
No.
No, he's
they're
wealthy.
well off. They're well
Okay.
off.
I didn't remember.
I think they make that pretty clear.
You're in his house for 8 seconds, so I didn't remember.
I think his house is like...
Really nice.
It's really nice, and it's almost like multiple houses together. It's not Jonathan's, but...
No.
Yeah, he's still well off. I think that your point that there's a class divide between...
But I think it's especially shown in Jorno. Jorno's a kid on the streets who joined a gang.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
But he finds this true man's world as well.
Yep. And he's not a Joestar. He's the descendant of Dio.
Yeah, but I think it doesn't have to be family.
Yeah.
And then you have Jolene, where sort of this like true man's world, as Ringo and all his like cowboy masculinity calls it.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be men.
No.
I think with Jolene, I assume she finds her true man's world and she separates that from the male gender, and I think that's great.
Yep. She does. I agree. I love Jolene. She's the second best JoJo to me.
Fair.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah. Other than that, Steel Ball Run's great.
Steel Ball Run's amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone should read Steel Ball Run.
Everyone should read Steel Ball Run.
Everyone. I don't care what you like,
No,
what
I don't
your
care.
taste is. If you want a recommendation from us that is absolutely amazing, and it doesn't matter what your perspective is on anything.
Read
It's
Steel
like
Ball Run.
you can love depth and themes and writing, or you can just want something that's entertaining and you don't really give a shit about anything else.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Steel Ball Run. Yep.
That's what I said on
Read Steel Ball Run.
on the first slide of my JoJo post. I
Yeah.
said, if you, whether you're a JoJo lover, a hater, or you've never looked at it before in your life,
Yeah.
read Steel Ball Run.
Read Steel Ball Run.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Just read Steel
Anything.
Ball Run.
Yep.
If you hate JoJo, just go read Steel Ball Run.
Yeah.
Because you'll like JoJo.
I hate westerns. I hate westerns. It's a genre that I cannot deal with. I love Steel Ball Run.
Because it's amazing.
It's so good.
Because it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyone who's stuck around this long, read Steel Ball Run if you haven't. I mean, you probably have, because it's number 2 on Mal.
Yeah, but
But read Steel Ball Run.
read Steel Ball Run. All right.
Should we say that for another 10 minutes?
Probably. Yeah.
Maybe I'll, edit it in. So we don't have to sit here. I'll just, clip
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
saying read
Yeah.
Steel Ball Run and just repeat it.
Yeah.
All right, so
And
if
no
you
one's gonna pick up on it.
No.
No. Okay. All right.
Even though I explained it.
Yeah. All right.
All right, goodbye, guys.